I don't really know why I'm writing this down. Maybe I just need to get it out of my head. It's been 3 months since it happened, but every time I walk into a quiet store at night, I still get that same cold feeling crawling up my spine. I work night shifts at a small convenience store called QuickMart, just off Highway 27. It's one of those 24-hour places that never really close, even though most of the time after midnight, nobody comes in except truckers, drunks, and the occasional cop. I used to like the quiet. I'd stock shelves, sip coffee, scroll on my phone, and count down the hours until sunrise. But after that night, things haven't felt normal. That night was a Thursday around 1:30 in the morning. The store was dead silent. Even the highway outside was empty, which was unusual. I remember it because I was halfway through organizing the chip aisle, trying to stay awake. The only sound was the hum of the refrigerators in the back. Then the door chime rang. It startled me a little, not because it was loud, but because I hadn't heard it in hours. I looked up, expecting to see a trucker or some college kid looking for snacks, but there was nobody at the door. Just silence. I frowned and checked the camera monitor. The door had clearly opened. The motion sensor had triggered the chime, but the feed showed nothing. No one walking in or out. I figured maybe the wind had pushed it a little. Sometimes when the front door doesn't latch right, it does that. So I went over, checked the latch, pushed it shut. Everything looked normal. A few minutes later, I went back to stacking shelves. But then I heard footsteps. Slow, dragging footsteps on the tile coming from the back of the store. I froze. We have a back door, but it's usually locked, and only employees use it. The sound stopped as soon as I turned toward it. My heart was pounding, not terrified, just confused. I called out, "Hey, the store's closed in the back. You need something?" No answer. I walked toward the noise, flashlight in hand. The back room light was still on, but when I stepped inside, it was empty. Boxes were stacked like always. Nothing looked touched. But then, out of nowhere, I caught a faint smell, like something metallic, old coins or rust. It was faint, but sharp enough to notice. I shrugged it off and went back to the counter. I told myself I was just tired. It was late, I'd been on caffeine for hours, and weird stuff always feels weirder at night. Then, about 20 minutes later, the power flickered. It didn't go completely out, just a quick flash, enough to reset the security monitors. The lights buzzed when they came back on. I checked my phone clock, 2:07 a.m. I wrote it down because that's when things got strange. On the screen behind the counter, the camera feed started to glitch. Lines and static across all 4 panels. Then for just a second, I saw a movement on camera 3, the one facing aisle 4 near the coolers. It looked like someone standing there. I blinked, leaned closer. The screen was snowy, but I could make out a shape. A man, tall, maybe wearing dark clothes. He wasn't moving, just standing still between the rows of soda bottles. I froze for a second, thinking maybe someone had slipped in when I wasn't looking. I grabbed the small metal baton we keep under the counter and started walking toward aisle 4. The floor felt louder under my boots than usual. Every step echoed in the stillness. When I turned the corner and the aisle was empty. Nothing. Not a sound. But the air felt wrong. Heavier somehow. Like the air in that section hadn't moved in a while. I remember standing there, breathing quietly, trying to hear anything. And that metallic smell was stronger now. I could almost taste it. I went back to check the cameras again. The screen was normal this time, no static, no shape, just empty aisles. I thought about calling my manager, but I knew he'd think I was losing it. We'd had false alarms before. Sensors triggering from bugs, lights flickering from bad wiring. It's an old store, so I kept working, trying not to think about it. I went back to the register, put on some music from my phone. Nothing creepy, just soft rock to fill the silence. But after a few minutes, I noticed something. The automatic door sensor was clicking. Not opening the door, just clicking softly like it was trying to detect motion. Then the music on my phone stopped, just cut off mid-song. The screen froze, then went black. I checked. Full battery. No signal. No Wi-Fi. Nothing. That's when the freezer doors in the back all opened at once. I heard the hiss of cold air and that distinct suction pop of rubber seals. I turned around, and all 5 freezer doors were hanging open, slowly swinging. Every hair on my arm stood up. I didn't move for a few seconds, just watched them. Then, one by one, they closed, softly, like someone was walking by, shutting them as they went. I wanted to leave, badly, but I knew I couldn't abandon the store. The rule was clear: stay until morning or until the relief shift arrives. So I stayed behind the counter, gripping that stupid metal baton, trying not to freak out. At 3:04 a.m. I heard a voice. It came from the intercom speaker above me, the one we never use. It was faint, crackly, like a whisper through static. I couldn't understand the words at first, but it sounded like someone saying my name. Evan. That's me. I stared at the speaker, frozen. It said it again, clearer this time. Evan, open the door. There was no one outside, I knew that. I checked the monitor. The front door was closed, the parking lot empty except for my car. I didn't move, I didn't say a word. Then the intercom popped again, and this time the voice laughed. A low, short laugh. And then, silence. That's when I lost it. I called my manager, told him something was wrong with the system, that I was hearing voices through the intercom. He didn't sound concerned, just tired. Said he'd check it in the morning and told me to keep calm. When I hung up, I noticed something on the counter, a receipt. Now this part is what really messed with me, because I hadn't rung up a single customer since around 10:30 p.m. The register was idle, but there it was, a printed receipt sitting on top of the keypad. It just said one word on the item line: hello. And the timestamp? 3:07 a.m. I grabbed my phone to take a picture, but before I could, the register screen went dark. All the lights in the store dimmed to about half strength, and the buzzing sound grew louder, like an electric hum vibrating through the air. My heart was hammering so hard it hurt. Then, the front door opened. The chime rang, slow and distorted. I looked up, expecting to see someone walk in, but the doorway was empty. Completely empty. Only the faint sound of wind from the highway. And yet, the motion sensor was detecting something. The green light above the door was flashing. I said out loud, "Whoever you are, I called the cops." My voice cracked. I hadn't called anyone, but I hoped whoever, whatever it was, would believe me. The door stayed open for a few more seconds. Then it slowly closed again. I ran to the door, locked it, turned the key twice. I didn't even care about the rules anymore. I stood there staring at my own reflection in the glass. My breath was fogging up the window. But then I realized there was another reflection behind mine. Someone standing in the aisle watching me. I spun around, nothing, empty again. But this time I saw it on the floor. Wet footprints, bare feet, leading from aisle 4 toward the back of the store. No dirt, no mud, just water, like someone had stepped out of a shower and walked through the store. I followed them halfway, then stopped. The prints ended right in front of the cooler. Just stopped cold. I remember whispering, "No way," and stepping back. My whole body felt heavy, like I was underwater. That's when the power went out. Everything went black except the faint glow of the exit sign. And in that half-light, I swear I saw a movement in the reflection of the cooler glass. A figure standing just behind me. Not moving, just standing. I couldn't breathe. I turned slowly, and there was nothing there. I bolted for the front door. I didn't even care anymore. I ran to my car, locked it, and sat there shaking until sunrise. When my manager showed up, I told him everything. He thought maybe someone had hacked the intercom system or a wiring issue had caused the electronics to malfunction. We checked the cameras together. Every single feed after 1:30 a.m. was corrupted. Static only, no sound, no footage. But the weirdest part? The receipt was gone. There was no record in the system of any transaction at 3:07 a.m. No entry, no data, nothing. I quit that job a week later. I told myself I was just tired, that I'd imagined most of it. But even now I can still smell that faint metallic scent when I drive past the store. It's closed now, boarded up, apparently because of electrical issues. I don't think that's the real reason. Sometimes, late at night when I can't sleep, I pull up the security footage that I saved from that job on my old hard drive. There's one frame, just one, where the cameras flicker for half a second. And in that frozen moment, right behind the counter where I was standing, there's a shape. Tall, dark, almost human. I don't know what I saw that night, but I know I wasn't alone.